Festival, October 6th through the 9th, is back with its biggest lineup ever. Aftershock 2022, Foo Fighters, My Chemical Romance, Slipknot, Kiss, Rob Zombie, Judas Priest, Shinedown, Bring Me the Horizon, Papa Roach, A Day to Remember, Evanescence, Lamb of God, Hailstorm, Falling in Reverse, and more. Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort. Over 90 bands on 4 stages over 4 days. Go to AftershockFestival.com for full lineup and get your passes today. Aftershock 2022. The countdown is on for California's biggest rock festival.
Be sure, be accurate with Exergen thermometers, backed by over 100 clinical studies. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Means you can do more for less. Like making your laundry and life easier with a Samsung laundry pair with steam technology that eliminates stains and reduces wrinkles and odors. In store or on the Home Depot app. The Home Depot. How doers get more done. U.S. only while supplies last. Valid February 10th through March 2nd, 2022. Free delivery applies to orders of $396 or more.
O'Reilly Auto Parts has what you need to keep your engine performing at its best. Our professional parts people will help you select the right products for your vehicle and your budget. Like 5 quarts of Castrol GTX conventional oil and a MicroGuard filter, just $28.99. Save money on your next oil change. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The cucumber empanadas.
Sarah's food truck is popping off.
Come on, guys, let's pick it up, all right?
But if she doesn't find a new chef, her truck will be stuck.
Carl quit this morning, so Jessica, I'm going to need you on the fryer.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
This company presents and Doug.
Check it out, Limu. A roadside carnival.
Step right up, folks. Test your strength. Come see the fire-breathing baby.
Let's fan out and tell people that Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Look! An emu wearing sunglasses!
Limu, you're famous. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Your chance to hop a flight to Minneapolis to see Korn in concert is just a few clicks away. Just go to krxq.net for your chance to win a trip to see Korn. Along with Chevelle and Code Orange, Saturday, March 26th at Target Center in Minneapolis. One grand prize winner scores round-trip airfare for 2 nights of hotel accommodations, 2 tickets to the show, and $200 in spending money from Live Nation. Tickets are available now at Ticketmaster.com. Your chance to win your very own Korn trip is at krxq.net.
Yes, your closet. Does it whisper your taste? Does it scream your taste? The new Stitch Fix Freestyle, your personalized store, gets to know your unique style and fit. Its selection transforms to show you only the looks and trends you love. With a store that evolves alongside your taste, your closet will scream, so you, without actually screaming. Introducing Stitch Fix Freestyle for women and men, your personalized store. We're so you.
Luckily, eBay Motors has all the right parts at the right prices. 122 million of them. Can't imagine stocking that many parts. Where would I get all those shelves? eBay Motors. Let's ride. 97.
Verizon is going ultra, and home internet will never be the same. Say hello to 5G Home. Wireless internet on 5G ultra wideband. Now in your neighborhood. Like at Kelsey's, just down the block.
One sec, in the middle of the game.
Ultra fast speeds and ultra low lag. Great for gaming.
And streaming it all to my followers.
All right, Kelsey. And moving on down the street to Tom. Just moved to town and killing it with the ultra simple self setup. Just plug, play, and done. Was super easy. Now I'm making crab cakes. Voila! Swinging around the corner to Susie. Oh, sorry to interrupt your binge-a-thon, Susie, but you know there's no annual contracts or extra fees. The price is the price, guaranteed.
Yeah, that's amazing. Now,
Sorry. Oh, I love this part, by the way. 5 5G home internet is here. Plans start at just $25 per month with select 5G mobile plans. That's 50% off. Verizon is going ultra, so you can too. 5G ultra wideband available in select areas. $25 a month for 5G home or $35 a month for 5G home plus internet plans with 5G do more, 5G play more, 5G get more mobile plans. With auto pay and paper-free billing required. Subject to Verizon agreements and credit approval.
Saving you thousands. Online at LexusOfSacramento.com.
Jack in the Box's new 15-piece Nacho Tiny Tacos for just $3.50. They're the tiny tacos you know and love, now with nacho cheese flavor in every bite. Or get them bacon-loaded with bacon, melted cheese, and ranch on top for $4.50. Order now on the Jack app or have them delivered.
Another nice...
ਪੰਜਾਬ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਰਿਸ਼ਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਸੰਬੰਧਿਤ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਸਾਂਝੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਜੱਟ ਸਿੱਖ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਦੀ 33 ਸਾਲਾ ਲੜਕੀ ਜਿਸ ਦੀ ਹਾਈਟ 5 ਫੁੱਟ 5 ਇੰਚ ਹੈ। ਲੜਕੀ ਅਮਰੀਕਾ ਦੀ ਜੰਪਲ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਵਕਤ ਲੜਕੀ ਸਰਕਾਰੀ ਨੌਕਰੀ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਚੰਗੇ ਪੜ੍ਹੇ ਲਿਖੇ ਨਸ਼ਿਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਰਹਿਤ ਵੈਸ਼ਨੋ ਲੜਕੇ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਹੈ। ਹੋਰ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲਈ ਬਾਕਸ ਨੰਬਰ ਨੋਟ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ 301।
$168 over 10 years, folks. I'm Varon Larson for Big Mountain Heating and Air. We can finance that same heating and air system for $0 out of pocket for 90% of you with solar, and actually put tens of thousands of dollars back into your pocket over the life of this system. Details at 916-378-4665.
You'll be saving with Big Mountain when we come. You'll be covered with Big Mountain when we leave. Just call before you need us and your system is protected and your savings will be greater all year long.
BigMountainair.com. We love to help you save money on your favorite ingredients. And you can save even more when you shop the deals in our weekly ad. This week, take home mouth-watering USDA Choice Rayleigh's Boneless Untrimmed Tri-Tip Roast sold in the bag and on sale for only $4.97 a pound. Make it a meal by pairing your Tri-Tip with fresh broccoli crowns. On sale this week for only $1.47 a pound. Get exemplary service and exceptional everyday values in-store or online from your neighborhood Rayleigh's or Bel Air.
For over 40 years, the original Sacramento Home and Garden Show has been the destination for all things home improvement. And whether it's your first show or you're a seasoned pro, we want you to have the best experience possible. So follow us on social media for some helpful home show tips at Sac Home Garden Show, or visit us at homeshowhappiness.com for tickets and show details.
Hunt down that killer shark or run into a burning house to save a kitten. Luckily, there's an easier way to become a hero. Call 911 if you see someone experiencing the symptoms of stroke, sudden weakness on one side, or trouble speaking, walking, or seeing. Stroke. Know the signs. Act in time. You'll be a real hero. A message from the National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke.
At Rayleigh's in Bel Air, we love to help you save money on your favorite ingredients. And you can save even more when you shop the deals in our weekly ad. This week, take home mouth-watering USDA Choice Rayleigh's Boneless Untrimmed Tri-Tip Roast sold in the bag and on sale for only $4.97 a pound. Make it a meal by pairing your Tri-Tip with fresh broccoli crowns. On sale this week for only $1.47 a pound. Get exemplary service and exceptional everyday values in-store or online from your neighborhood Rayleigh's or Bel Air.
Really? Let me see.
Okay. Slow down.
You're right, Jack.
Save one for me. Plus tax. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary.
Nancy, why don't you have insurance?
It's too expensive. I couldn't pay $125 a month, and my insurance canceled me.
Why don't you call Freeway Insurance? I have the same car as you, and I pay $1 a day. You could be saving hundreds of dollars a year.
Wow, Freeway could save me a lot of money. What's their number?
800-315-3466.
Do they have an office close to me?
Freeway has local offices in the area, or they could insure you over the phone.
Give me that number again.
800-315-3466. 800-315-3466.
That's right, as low as $1 a day. Regardless of your driving record, Freeway could save you money and get you insured. They're that good, and they're open Saturdays for your convenience. Call now and see how much you could save. 800-315-3466. 800-315-3466.
In to save and invest.
Luckily for him, Navy Federal takes the legwork out of managing his money, which gives Dan time to work on other things, like his new auctioneering hobby.
1,111.
If you want to be like Dan, learn about our savings and investment options at NavyFederal.org/save and invest. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission.
Bidder number 63.
Savings products insured by NCUA. Investment options are available through Navy Federal Investment Services and are not insured by NCUA.
Like making your laundry and life easier with a Samsung laundry pair with steam technology that eliminates stains and reduces wrinkles and odors. Enjoy savings on top-rated appliances online, in-store, or on the Home Depot app. The Home Depot. How doers get more done. U.S. only while supplies last. Valid February 10th through March 2nd, 2022. Free delivery applies to orders of $396 or more.
Enjoy your Sonic.
Dang, son, this bacon is just hanging out in this burger, dog.
That nice, tangy, smoked sauce.
The bacon on this burger is just asking me to eat it.
You should oblige.
Bring home the bacon with the Sonic Bacon on Bacon quarter-pound double cheeseburger. Stacked with 4 slices of crispy bacon and covered in tangy smoked sauce. Buy a half price and eat for a limited time.
Let's get ready to rumble! Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C Sports. This is Charlton of Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to me and people who love sports, all fair and love and war. I want to say, Rondo Deportes, bonjour, de vidi vidi vici. Today is a beautiful March the 2nd, 2022. And I'm telling you, I want to say welcome to the show. Today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade. The standard of the world when you reach out and test drive yours, just tell them Charlton Big C Sports 50, as well as a fleet of Cadillac cars all around the universe. You can follow Big C Sports Podcast on 23 podcast applications on Google, Alexa, Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, iHeart-Radio Podcast, Castbox Podcast, Deezer Podcast, Podcast Addict, and Podchaser. Give me some praise. Some people say, man, you can't count to 10 without huffing and puffing. Yeah, you're right. You can also follow Big C Sports Podcast on GeoSavan Podcast out of London, England, Podtail, YouTube, Hubhopper, Stitcher Podcast, Radio Line, Repod Podcast, Luminary Podcast. Listen to those podcasts. Podcast-wise, Podbay, Verbal Podcast, and the only one that scares me is allfeeds.ai. The computers are taking over. Give it all some praise. Come on, y'all. If the computers are taking over, we all have nothing else to do. Don't laugh. You know, I used to go to the bank when I was a young boy. I had to go stand in line. Now you go to the ATM machine, all fair and love and war. Also, you can follow Big C Sports Podcast streaming on 4 TV platforms all over the universe. You can follow Big C Sports streaming on Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, and a lot of smart TVs all over. As I always say, the universe. And give that some praise. TVs all over the universe. Just like I remember Will Robinson. They had the Will Robinson spaceship. Things got a lot better when Star Trek came along and just blew things out of the water. I love paying homage to my family legacy. Oh my goodness, I love it every day. On my mother's side, the matriarch of our family, my great-grandmother called her mama, just a wonderful, beautiful woman, always doing what it took to keep the family together, always having lots of love and food in our belly. Really do appreciate that, even though every now and then I did hear the words, boy, go get me a switch. Still looking for those switches today. And my grandfather, my great-grandfather, name was Pop, former Major League, Negro League baseball player, and well-known in the church as making the best moonshine in the universe. And saying, boys, get out of that barn before lightning strikes. You know, sometimes kids would get the moonshine and try to fill it with water. Water hose water, too, not the Evian stuff, but water hose water. As if he couldn't tell. He could always tell the difference. That's what Bunch's boys do. And then my grandmother called her Mud Deer, a seer, very beautiful, intelligent woman, very smart, ambitious, could look at a person and tell you a lot of things about them, their past, present, and future. Really do appreciate her. Even to this day, get insight from Mud Deer. Really do appreciate her. And then my grandfather, Hezekiah, another wonderful gentleman, did everything he could to keep the family going strong. And then my beautiful mother, the best mother in the history of the universe, started a Head Start program, a food program, and also helped win the Little League Championship of the universe. Give Mama some praise. A Head Start program, a food program, and to win the Little League Championship of the universe. Always saying rise and shine. Always appreciate saying rise and shine. Every day, really do appreciate Mama. And then on my father's side, the patriarch of the family as I was growing up is my grandfather, Albert Curry, very smart, intelligent man, very, very powerful in his community. Had 2 churches in Oakland, California, built a 3rd church in Central California, also on 2 service stations in Oakland, California. Very smart, hardworking, industrious man. And then right with him, side by side, my grandmother, Alberta Curry, working with my grandfather side by side to help run the churches in Oakland, also building a 3rd church in Central California and running the 2 gas stations in Oakland. And then my father, former Air Force fighter pilot, chief mechanic, making sure planes could fly high so we could all stay safe at night. And then my beautiful brother Todd, with his bombastic voice, sound like thunder and lightning when Todd would speak. As I always say, I had an epiphany. Our favorite movie was Scarface, but we thought that was too violent, so we settled on Pulp Fiction. Today at the gas station, I was getting some gas this morning, and I saw this young woman walking into the gas station, and she had Scarface on her shirt. I chose not to say hi, if that makes sense to you. But I think one of our favorite movies in Pulp Fiction, and the scene is when Vin Rames told Bruce Willis in the boxing event, he said, your butt goes down in the 4th round. He said, say that blip. And he said, that stinking sensation that you're feeling, that's pride flipping with you. Well, as he told Bruce Willis in the movie, I'm going to try to get it with it, flip pride. I love skating on the edge. Yeah, flip pride. Anyone ever say anything to you that you don't like, just say flip pride. Oh, sure, love it where. Oh my God. And then I really do appreciate, love, paying homage to my beautiful daughter, Daisy. I say Daisy is the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. At the beginning of time. Daisy's a very smart, hardworking, and beautiful woman, and she graduated college with 2 degrees, with honors, in 3.5 years from a major university. She's also the first person who set up an interview for Big C Sports when we were at Salem Media. Really do appreciate her, and then would help me set up for events when coaches would come, college coaches would come to the West Coast and do work with Big C Sports. Really do appreciate her. And then my handsome son, Malcolm, the handsome son in the history of the universe. At the beginning of the time, Malcolm's very smart, industrious, hardworking, a college student, sophomore in college, works really hard. Really do appreciate Malcolm. Wakanda forever. Never let anyone come between you and your family, Malcolm. And as I always say, Malcolm knows NBA stats all over the place, always inside and out, knows the NBA, often sends me stats on NBA. Really do appreciate him. And then Big C, with all of his wealth of knowledge over the years, always saying you gotta believe, you gotta believe, you gotta believe. Give everybody some praise. I say give everybody praise, praise, praise. Really do appreciate that, the growth of Big C Sports Podcast. And as I often like to hear, what my great-grandfather would say, as he was saying, boys, get out of that barn. I think a lot of bosses have stolen it from him. Let's get ready to rumble. He's the first one to said that. Welcome to the show, ESPY-nominated Big C Sports Podcast. And I'm telling you, no scripts, no 3-way teleprompters, no producer in my ear, and my show is fresh every day, just like that Big C cup of coffee you drank this morning. It's always fresh. I don't do rehabs of shows. A lot of sports shows, you'll hear the same show 3 or 4 times a day because they'll just rehash their show. Would you ever imagine going to Krispy Kreme and you want to get that hot, that fresh donut as it rolls off of that conveyor belt, and then they tell you, oh, well, these are already 3 days old. Nobody would want that. Just like Big C Sports, nobody wants a 3-day-old coffee, and no one wants 3-day-old sports news. You get it fresh once a day. All's fair and level war. That's what I love about doing Big C Sports Podcast. I walk and talk by faith, not by sight. And what I say that's really important to me that a lot of people have recognized, and I want to say, give me some praise for that too. I deserve that. But I always produce the show. I produce every show with Big C Sports Podcast. I direct the topics, and then I broadcast the shows. The sound effects, now they're provided by the agency platform. We could all use more laughter in our life. Really do appreciate that. And then the commercials are done, the stats provided, the storytelling, and we got to get the groove back for the West Coast. Steph Curry for 3. Want to get that back again because I got to get those NBA passes for Big C Sports. Got to get the Warriors in the finals. I doubt if the Sacramento Kings will make the playoffs the way they've been sliding down Yosemite, if that makes sense to you. Half Dome, if you've ever been up to Half Dome. And then the show's uploaded to 23 multiple platforms. It goes out to 4 TV platforms, and I never missed a show. And again, those 4 TV platforms: Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and then Amazon Fire TV. It goes out to all of those, but they don't go out if I don't do a show. That's what I love about doing Big C Sports. Has been noticed by a lot of people, especially the sponsors. And then I think, and in my opinion, I might be wrong, but I think I'm the only sports show in the universe that consistently honors God. Some people say God bless you, but I do it every day. Every show that I do is fresh, like the Krispy Kreme cookie donuts are always fresh too. And then, so one of the favorite verses that I heard growing up, as a little boy, growing up in the church, I often heard in Genesis 13:15, it says, "For all the land that thou seest will I give you, and thy seeds forever." And the book of James, chapter 4, verse 2, said, "You have not because you ask not." If you want something, make sure you ask and give asking some praise. You got to give it praise, praise, praise. Everything in your life right now. At one time, it was just a thought. So I love giving things praise. And I love also saying I want to give some praise to Xfinity Comcast TV and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, where God said, "Let there be light." Open your cell phones or electronic devices and just say, "Play Big C Sports Podcast," and you will see the app pop up anywhere in the world. I challenge anyone to do that because it's there, and it only happens when I rise and shine every day. That's why rising and shining is so important. Also venturing for 2022 for a Big C Sports Podcast as I'm rising and shining, getting my certification to become a sports marketing agent, going out to sign some of the top NFL, the NBA, and Major League Baseball talent. And that's as a sports marketing agent with one of the top agents in the United States. Really do appreciate him for the tutelage that he's poured on to me with the Big C Sports Podcast. And as I always say, you can go to Forbes Magazine, just Google it. Google Forbes Magazine and the top sports agents in the country. And as I say, the top sports agents in the universe. And you'll realize they contributed in contracts over $41.2 billion in contracts in sports. It's a great business, and it's growing by leaps and bounds. It's not shrinking no matter what's going on in the world of sports. Sports is always there, and the representation is there. And when you realize the top agency made over $160 million in 1 year in commissions from signing athletes. Oftentimes those athletes are African American, and more black men are getting into that business as they start seeing the writing on the wall. They're not begging coaches, or they're not begging owners of sports teams to say, "Hey man, will you please give me a job? I have all the credentials. I've been a coordinator for 4 years, been to 4 AFC championship games, or oftentimes managed in Super Bowls, whether the offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator." Look at the Rams this year, defensive coordinator, African American men. Same thing with the 49ers, defensive coordinator, African American men. They played in the NFC championship game. So everybody has their own thought about how do you crack the NFL. But when the agent's there, the fees are typically capped by the Players Association, and the top commissions allowed by FIFA. Maybe I'll understand what Pele was doing, kicking that ball around. They give out 10%. They allowed 10% of the contract to go to the agency. Major League Baseball, 5%, but they're on pause right now. Strike three, struck them out. And then also NFL football, they are at 3%. But NHL hockey and NBA basketball, they allow their 4%. So that's a business that Big C Sports is being recruited into. It's like being recruited into athletics. So I really do appreciate that. But it's only because I rise and shine. And back in 2018, I actually interviewed some sports agents for a TV platform, and they remembered. That was August of 2018. Well, some of these guys remember. In fact, when they pull up your name and they see you all over the world, every day, Monday through Friday, doing a live sports show all over the universe. Nothing that's rehashed, nothing that's stale like a 3-day-old cookie. Everything that Big C Sports does is fresh. Only one time a day. You only get one shot, the great Eminem told us. So I love doing it fresh, just like that Krispy Kreme donut is fresh, like your Big C cup of coffee in the morning. As I often say, the best part of waking up is Big C in your cup. Get that some praise. Cousin one size, extra large. We all need extra large coffee. Speaking of extra large, one of these days I'm going to win that lottery. I want to thank the California Lottery, whether it's Fantasy 5, Powerball, Mega Millions, Super Lotto. It's all fair and level where we could all use more millions in our life. What could a $1 or $2 do for you? But I also want to say, for those people who gamble, sports betting's become mega in the United States of America, thanks to the Supreme Court. And obviously, them good old boys could pass sports betting before they could pass a voting rights bill. And that's a joke. But for those of you who are gambling more than you can afford, Coach Mariucci, former coach of the 49ers, now he works with the NFL Network. He did a PSA for the NFL playoffs, and he talked about people who gamble too much. And there's a lot, because these sports books are making mega profits this year, thanks to the Supreme Court. And we still don't have a voting rights law passed yet. Should happen this year. But if you know anyone going through issues, pick up the phone, give them the number, 800-GAMBLER. That's 800-GAMBLER. And you can get to some help. You know, the Supreme Court, they made it all possible. They made it all possible because they allowed nearly every state in the union to have these sports books that you can go out and bet now. In California, people used to have to go down over the state line to Nevada and bet. Now they have bookies. They have them all over the place. They're building casinos where you can go in and do the legalized betting. But you got to make sure you don't get in trouble. It's not all fair. It's not always gold in them there hills. I all want to say thank you to the Veterans Crisis Hotline. They really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. And rumor has it they will stand on their head to get our veterans some help. If you know what's going on, unless your head's in the sand with Russia and Ukraine and the State of the Union speech last night by President Biden, I still know there are people saying, we're not doing enough to stop the war in Ukraine. Well, anyone who feels that, get yourself and your kids and join the military and go over and pick up arms and put your life on the line. And President Biden said he's not going to commit American troops to battle. And I respect him for that. For anyone who says we should, go sign up with the military and take you and your family members over there to the Ukraine, and then you fight, put your money where your mouth is or your butt where your mouth is, if that makes sense to you. Don't want to see any American blood spilled on something that's going to be over very soon. That's my opinion. But if you know anyone going through issues, pick up the phone and they can call the Veterans Crisis Hotline, 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net and give that some praise. Give our first responders some praise because they are there to help and they do a great job of helping. I also want to say thank you to Budweiser Zero. It has 0% alcohol, but it's 100% honest game. Sports fans, when you're watching the big game, you want to eat the Big C Burger. It's a tasty burger, and it comes with what's all those exotic meats. Rumor has it that it tastes better in your mouth than it does in your head. It also comes great with the Big C coffee. It comes in one size, extra large. Oftentimes people say, why does the cup gotta be so big? Nobody says, where's the beef with the Big C burger? They don't say, where's the coffee with the Big C coffee? Also, hopefully coming soon, the Big C cookie. Why does the cookie have to be so big? Double entendres all over the place. Why does the cookie have to be so big? It tastes better in your mouth than it does in your hand. Oh, swear it never works. I'm going to take what's called a Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. And when I come back, I'm going to talk more about sports in the sports universe, in the words of former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger and the Terminator. I'll be back. All right, we're back for the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 23 podcast applications all over the universe and streaming on 4 TV platforms. Really do appreciate the growth of Big C Sports. You know, we talk about baseball having their issues. Football right now just had the Super Bowl 56 in Southern California, and the Rams got the win. And Major League Baseball, I was hoping that we would have spring training by now, but I guess people who want more money decided no. They said no. They said, plump no. They said to the baseball players, is $700,000 enough for you? And some of the baseball players said, plump no. Plump no. So I guess $700,000 not enough. But tonight we have NBA basketball on a beautiful Wednesday, March the 2nd, 2022. And we have, I gotta pay homage to my grandfather as I say, let's get ready to rumble for some NBA basketball. All fair and level work. Got a schedule out. We You have Charlotte is at Cleveland. This is for you. Cleveland's playing good basketball this time of year. Indiana's down at the Orlando Magic. Looking for some magic to happen in Orlando. Probably not tonight. The New York Knickerbockers in Philadelphia. Philadelphia freedom. Come on. I love, love, love you. Come on. Who was it? Elton John? Shine on me. Shine a light. Want to shine a light. Come on, yo. Philadelphia freedom. You know, James Harden brought a lot of freedom to the sleep patterns of Doc Rivers. He sleeps a lot better not having to yell at Ben Simmons. Because James Harden is doing his thing. He's rejuvenated, and he's doing his thing with the great Joel Embiid and New York Knickerbockers at the Philadelphia freedom, giving Doc Rivers some freedom, and the 76ers doing their thing. Their game's already underway on ESPN. The Utah Jazz leaving out of the Wasatch Mountains, going down to Houston, playing on the Gulf Coast. You have the Houston Rockets. That game's already underway, as well as the game that really is must-see television. The Miami Heat, they are at the Milwaukee Bucks. How do you cook a buck? You turn the heat up really high. But what do you do if you turn the heat up as high as you can and the buck jumps off the grill? And then slam dunks on you. If you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. What does the buck say? Pluck the heat. Oh, Lord have mercy. You got to be careful with the play-on words and the double entendres. But pluck the heat. All fair and level war. The Sacramento Kings at the New Orleans Pelicans. And then you have a team in the Oklahoma City Thunder. They got on an airplane and they decided to fly up to the Mile High City and take on the Denver Nuggets. And then tonight, after the show, the Portland Trailblazers, they will fly down in the Valley of the Suns and take on the Phoenix Suns. That game will also be on ESPN. So a lot of basketball players are starting to play and getting ready for that playoff push. I mean, there's a lot of good basketball being played. I kind of feel for the LA Lakers. I always thought that the Lakers, as long as they have LeBron James, that they would be a playoff team. But seeing last night how Luka Doncic, he went one-on-one, mano-a-mano with LeBron James, and LeBron James could not handle that Euro step. I've seen it before, but this good old boy, LeBron he switched off of him later in the game, but he picked him up a couple of times. And I'm not saying that Luka Doncic is the better player than LeBron James. Nobody's saying that at all. But that good old boy can play. I mean, he crossed up LeBron James a couple times. And I'm telling you, there's something about the Dallas Mavericks. They're not going to go deep in the playoffs, but they could, because that's a team that's playing some really good basketball. And I don't know any songs that represent Dallas. I guess I got one for Dallas. The great Kenny Rogers. You gotta know when to hold 'em. Give me some praise. Come on. Know when to fold 'em. When to fold 'em. Know when to walk away. And know when to give the ball to Luka Doncic. You never count your money. When you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough for crossing over. When Luka Doncic is done dealing. He was dealing at the Crypto.com Arena. They might want to change that name back to the Staples Center. They had more success at Staples Center than they had in the Crypto.com Arena. And then even Golden State got had up in Minnesota against the Timberwolves. All's fair and level more. But I want to run down tonight's Big C Sports, the NBA power rankings, because we have no baseball to talk about because they decided strike three, struck them out. That's what baseball wants. They want to strike out. All's fair and level more. But when you think about Big C's NBA power rankings, there's a lot of good basketball teams out there in the NBA basketball universe. And I love how basketball is just doing its thing, because a lot of these teams right now, they're already in playoff position. They're trying to anyway, but we have 30 teams in the NBA. I'm going to count down Big C's NBA power rankings, and I'm going to start at number 20. And I'm going to say number 20, and I know people might laugh at me, but crossover aside, and I know they've been on a losing streak, but I think LA will find a way. The Lakers will find a way. I'm going to put that number 20 in Big C's NBA power rankings. I know it might make some people need some Pepto-Bismol, and you may even throw up in your mouth if that makes sense to you, as long as you're not throwing up on the Big C burger. But I want to think about this. When you think about the way the Lakers have played, it's just not it's something I'm not used to, but without the great Anthony Davis, because he's hurt again, I know that's a surprise to a lot of people. Maybe just his frame. Maybe he should be in the weight room. I mean, I don't know. But the Lakers have lost 10 of 13, and that includes a brutal 28-point home loss to New Orleans Pelicans. The same Pelicans that Scarface had in the movie. Come here, Pelican, Pelican, Pelican. And then you have Russell Westbrook likely coming. I mean, most likely they're probably going to deal Russell Westbrook. I think he went to Lucinger High School in Southern California, played at UCLA. Nice comeback for the Lakers. May not retire as the LA Lakers. It's all fair and level war. But where will LeBron James go from here? And we know that the Lakers could very well miss out in the playoffs. I think LeBron James, as much as I like him as an athlete, I thought it was classless last night when he did not shake the hand or give a high five to that's my opinion, to the Dallas Mavericks. Whatever. People, sometimes you don't got to shake somebody's hand. It's COVID. Still dealing with COVID. But also, I'm going to put them at number 20. I'm also going to bring in at number 19, I'm going to put in, because you got to put them in there, the New Orleans Pelicans. Not that they deserve it. They have a losing record. A lot of teams are going to have a losing record this time of year. But that they find themselves, since a 1-12 start, they're playing 500 basketball. That's the only reason I'll put them in there. And there's some good news that Zion Williamson, his foot is supposed to be getting better. And also C.J. McCollum, that good boy's been doing his thing since the trade. He's averaging 28 points a game, 6 rebounds, 5.6 assists, and shooting 43% in 7 games with New Orleans. So I really like what he's doing. So that's why I'm going to put them at 19. At 18, I'm going to go with the Charlotte Hornets, them good old boys. Again, a losing record, but they have a lot of talent on that team. They're in the midst of a bad stretch and seeing them lose 11 of 13, but that's going to happen as we get closer to what's going around, teams trying to make the playoffs. In Charlotte, I'm telling you, they're a young team. They'll most likely maybe sneak into the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. We will see. LaMelo Ball and company, they have a lot of talent. They just got to play better as a team. I'm going to go number 17 in Big C's NBA Power Rankings. The Brooklyn Nets. Yes, I'm going to say Brooklyn. They're just over 500. And the good news is that King Kevin Durant is going to be returning from injury on Thursday against the Miami Heat. That might be the bad news. He missed the past 21 games. And the Nets are 5-16 during that span. They were just edged by Toronto after also being blown out by Toronto. But Durant and then Ben Simmons, who will make his debut, and after being acquired from the 76ers. So I'm going to put the Brooklyn Nets at my number 17. Number 16, I'm going to put the Atlanta Hogs. When you think about that, they had a trip to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and now they're kind of inconsistent at times, but they're currently holding on to the final play-in spot in the Eastern Conference, and they lost those 7 of 12, and they got to turn that around. They got to start flying in a better direction. I'm going to go number 15 in Big C's NBA Power Rankings. The Toronto Raptors, them good old boys coming in at number 15, and they have a solid record right now. They just nicked up on the Brooklyn Nets. They just nicked them or net them. I say they nicked them. I tried to do a play on words, but I couldn't do it. But when you think about Nick Nurse, see, I was trying to tie it in. They nicked the Nets, they clipped the Nets, they nicked them, But Nick Nurse is one of the best coaches in the NBA. Toronto opened the season with a 23-23 record, and now they find themselves running off 11-4 record in its past 15 games. And Pascal Siakam, that good old boy, is dropping 21 points a game, as well as 9 rebounds and 5.2 assists. I put them at number 15. I'm going to put number 14, the Los Angeles Clippers, even without the King Paul George with the elbow issue, and Kawhi Leonard, the claw, sideline with the ACL. I think the Clippers find themselves in a good playoff position. We know Tyronn Lue has been there before, and this is the team right now. They're the best team in LA, and even though there's only 2 teams, they're not the star-laden team the way the Lakers are, but I'm going to put them there, and that's my opinion. I'm gonna jump to Minnesota Timberwolves. They played a good game last night against the Golden State Warriors. Now, when they're healthy, the Timberwolves are a really good team. When you look at Golden State, for some reason they've been slipping their giddy up, but who's lost for the second time in as many games in Minnesota this season. The Wolves return the great Karl Anthony Towns, now the 3-point shooting champion for the NBA All-Star Weekend. And the three-time All-Star just dropping 39 against Golden State and averaging 26 points a game, along with 10 rebounds per game in his past 16 outings. That good old boy is doing his thing. Number 12 in Big C's NBA Power Rankings, Cleveland, this is for you. Them good old boys are doing very well. It's going to be all about a young team. Can they come together at 36-25 on the season? Already looking at playoffs. The upstart Cavaliers have won 10 of 15, and they find themselves with the fifth best record in their Eastern Conference. Can they climb any higher? Maybe they could, but not likely. But they're still a very good team, and I can't wait to see what happens with them. They have the rookie, maybe the rookie of the year, and Evan Mobley helping that team. Number 10, this team could actually be higher because the Dallas Mavericks, on their swing to the West Coast, they've knocked off the Golden State Warriors, and I think they came from behind 21 points. They were also behind the Lakers last night. They came back and beat the Lakers, and the Mavericks are doing their thing. The great Luka Doncic, they should call him Luka, the Eurostep Doncic. That good old boy is doing his thing. He's running the show. His partner, Spencer Dinwiddie, doing his thing. Dallas, they traded Kristaps Porzingis, and I thought, what a bad trade. I'm not so sure now. Maybe Mark Cuban knows what he's doing with his talent on that team. But whether they have the ability to go into the playoffs and do the same thing they've done over the last couple of games, we'll see. But the Luka Doncic, the great Eurosteps, the maven of Eurosteps, I would call him, this good old boy, they've won 8 of 10. He's dropping 33 points a game, 11 rebounds, and 8.3 assists, shooting 39% in those 10 outings. They're a good team. Number 10 in Big C's NBA Power Rankings. I got to go with the Johnny Morris, the Boston Celtics out of the old Boston Garden. I'm telling you, defense, since the ugly 19-21 start to the season, Boston has won 18-24. The great Marcus Smart is playing smarter, and he's turning up the defense. The great Jason Tatum, who has superstar written all over the great Jason Tatum. Maybe the new Larry Bird for Boston. We'll see. And I'm telling you, this is a good young team. They have the acquisition of Derek White, soon to be. I mean, he's gonna grow into a star player potentially. Don't want to call everybody star right away, but I like what Boston's doing, playing under the memories of the late Johnny Morris, the former Hall of Fame broadcaster back in the day in Boston. Number 9 in Big C's NBA Power Rankings. You don't have to like this, but I'm gonna say Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. Oh, hold on. I think must be Groundhog Day. Number 9 NBA Big C's Power Rankings, the Chicago Bulls. And you can always say that this team will have Michael Jordan's name stamped with the Bulls uniform. But Chicago drops, when you think about it, they're a good team. They had a blowout loss to the Miami Heat, though. A lot of people will experience that. But I love this team. They've been able to do a lot on the basketball court. Even with Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso's sideline, it's all about the MVP candidate, DeMar DeRozan. That good old boy is averaging 33 points a game, shooting 57% in the past 19 games. And that's why I'm telling you, that's a good basketball team. I put them at number 9. Number 8 in Big C's NBA Power Rankings. From the Mile High City and the reigning MVP of the NBA, the Denver Nuggets, there's gold in them there hills. When you think about how the great Nikola Jokic, the Joker's been doing his thing to get Denver up that mountain without Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. in the mix. He's playing at an elite clip again. The Denver in the midst of a stretch that's seen it win 13 of 17, and they also knocked off the Golden State Warriors out here on the West Coast. That's a good basketball team. I don't know how far they'll go in the playoffs, but they're very good for the regular season. All's fair and love and war. Number 7 in Big C's NBA Power Rankings. The defending NBA champion, Milwaukee Bucks. Right now, they're the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference. But when I think about King Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks, we'll see what happens tonight as they take on the Miami Heat. But the Milwaukee's lost 4 of 6, including they had an ugly loss when they played the Nets. So, but that, those things are going to happen. I still think they're a very good basketball team. They know they're trying to defend their NBA championship, first time in over 50 years. And I don't know if they're going to do it, but they will be a force to be reckoned with in the playoffs, especially with King Giannis Antetokounmpo. Number 6 in Big C's NBA basketball universe, the Wasatch Mountains finest, the Utah Jazz. If you like jazz music, they give you a lot of jazz. Down the stretch, saw them lose 11-13. That gives you a lot of indigestion and the reason to listen to jazz music. But they seem to have righted the ship. They've won 8 of 9 with victories over the Nuggets, the Nets, and the Warriors in the mix. Even then, I'm telling you, this is a team, they just got to right the ship. They have a lot of talent. When you think about it, Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, they got to figure things out going forward. You know, it's all okay to just go have a Big C burger. It's a tasty burger, and it comes with what's all the exotic meats. It often makes you make up its friends as well. Number 5 in Big C's NBA power rankings, and they may even climb higher than that. Philadelphia Freedom, the Philadelphia 76ers, and now they look like a legitimate title contender. Even Doc Rivers doesn't need the plop, plop, fizz, fizz, old ruddy relief it is. All he needs is to see James Harden doing his thing up and down the court, getting the ball into the hands of the great Joel Embiid, and they're doing their thing now. In 2 games together, Philadelphia Freedom, they're not throwing in the towel like in the movie Rocky, but they've outscored their opponents by combined 47 points. In Harden, King James Harden is dropping 28 points, 9 rebounds, and 14 assists on 57% shooting from distance. You got to watch out as those good boys climb in the Eastern Conference. I'm telling you, it might be Philadelphia Freedom. Could they be in the Eastern Conference Finals? Not so fast, my friend, but they're looking strong. Number 4, Big C's NBA power ranking. If you can't stand the heat, you got to get out of the kitchen. The Miami Heat, them good old boys, I really like the way they play basketball, but we'll see what happens in Milwaukee. They're legit conference title contender. They lost just a couple of years down in the bubble to the LA Lakers. The great King Jimmy Butler, he's one of the best all-around players in the universe. And the great Tyler Herro also has taken the team to a new level. If you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen, because when I was a young boy growing up, when you got in trouble, someone knocked on the door and they said, Bam, oh, Bam. Bam, the great Bam Adebayo, that's to the Teddy Riley, okay? The great Bam Adebayo has been doing his thing also, returned from injury, dropping 19 points, 10.3 rebounds, and 4 assists, also getting 2 steals on the block in 16 games. You got to look at this team as making a strong run, because Miami, they've been there before, and they know what it looks like to get to the finals. They just haven't won it since LeBron James retired from there. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5. No, they didn't get there. But I'm going to say, I know people want to jump off the ship sometimes. They want to jump off the ship, but I'm not going to jump off the ship just yet. And people might think I'm crazy, and that may not be far from true. But I'm going to say number 3 in Big C's NBA power rankings, the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, people are all jazzed up about the dunk that Ja Morant had the other night over a 7-foot-tall player, but that guy backed away. He walked away like a man running away from a charcoal that's hot out of the oven. He didn't try to block his shot. That shot, if Ja Morant had tried that dunk over Shaquille O'Neal, he would have been laying on his back. Shaq would have taken the foul. Had he tried it on Dennis Rodman, he would have been laying on his back, because D-Rod would have taken the foul. There's a lot of players, even Dwight Howard back in the day, would have taken the foul. But this play, I'm telling you, Tim Duncan would have taken the foul. The Admiral would have taken the foul. So they made SportsCenter. Oh, he dunked over a 7-footer. A guy that ran away from the defense. That's who he dunked over. Craig Popper probably got in his backside also. But Memphis Grizzlies number 3 in Big C's NBA power rankings. Memphis will be a tough out in the playoffs. I know that. They proved over and over again that a young team can go up against the big boys. The MVP caliber performance of Ja Morant. He's good. He's legit. He has the Grizzlies right now in a stretch run. 33 wins in 43 games since they started 10-10 this season. But can someone please tell them to paint the floor differently down in Memphis? They need bigger sidelines to let you know if the ball's out of bounds or not. A lot of guys, you get up in age, you can't see those skinny lines. Do something with that floor. They can have a better floor than that. That's just my opinion, especially that doesn't matter to the players, but it matters to some people. Number 2 in Big C's NBA power rankings. Sometimes we know there's gold in them there hills. The Golden State Warriors come out and play. They got to start coming out and play. Not going to understand why they keep dropping games. They're 43-19. They looked at the NBA title 5 times they won 3 in 5 years. They can get there again, but they got to play better. They got the great King Klay Thompson. They got Draymond Green. They got Andre Iguodala, but they got some issues with those players. Klay Thompson and Draymond Green have not played together with Steph Curry since June of 2019. So don't let the smooth taste fool you. This is a lot better team than they're playing right now. But the Warriors right now, up and down, they're gonna right the ship, because when they get their starting five together, they might be the best team in the NBA basketball universe. But for now, I'm going to say the best team in Big C's NBA power rankings, the Phoenix Suns, the fiery Phoenix. They have the great King Chris Paul, and we know obviously with that thumb messed up, and he's going to have to get through that pain. But they've lost 2 of 3 since he went down with the thumb injury. He's always had something happen to him in the playoffs, but this happened before the playoffs. Last year he had the shoulder injury. But with King Chris Paul sidelined the remainder of the season, the Suns are now without Devin Booker, COVID-19 protocol. But the Phoenix Suns, they remain a team that's favored to challenge in the West. You look at Golden State. You look at Phoenix. You look at Denver. You look at Memphis. You even got to look at Utah. But I think those teams will fade. But the teams that know how to win over the last several years will be the Golden State Warriors and the Phoenix Suns. So I'm going to still keep them as a top 2 in Big C's NBA basketball universe. Give that some praise. That's my story. And I'm sticking with it. I'm going to take what's called the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. I'll be back in just a moment. All right, we're back from the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on the #1 podcast network in the universe. One of these podcast platforms of Big C Sports. You know, when you think about it, it was March 2nd, 1962. I wasn't born then, but rumor has it, it's about 60 years ago that you're looking at. There's a player known by the great Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain, and regarded by many people as the greatest individual performance in the history of the NBA basketball universe. Scored over 100 times. On the court, too. I know some people might say 100 times. There's a lot more than that. I'm talking about on the court. I'm talking about Shaq. You can say it. They say that Wilt Chamberlain was a bad mother. Shut your mouth. People who understand Isaac Hayes, they know what I'm talking about. Don't shortchange the man. Don't shortchange the man. Rumor has it he scored over 100 points. I'm talking about on the court. But he was playing for the Philadelphia Warriors, which might be the preview of the 2022 NBA Finals. I'm going to go ahead and go to the Warriors versus Philadelphia 76ers. You can even call it in if that makes sense to you. I'm trying to play with my new platform. But that's what I'm looking at for the NBA Finals. Philadelphia 76ers and the Golden State Warriors. And when you think about it, when Wilt the Stilt did his thing, 100 points, playing for the Philadelphia Warriors before the Warriors came out to San Francisco, and with a win over the New York Knicks, it was March 2nd, 1962. He had made 36 of his 63 shots. Think about that. And 28 of his 32 free throws. Now, he was not the best free throw shooter. He averaged about 51% as a free throw shooter. But to put up that many points was amazing. They didn't have the sports centers and the cameras all around. They had a gym packed with about 4,000 fans. And the neutral site game were common back in the day, in the early days of the NBA, as an attempt to expand the league's audience. So the game was not even played in Philadelphia freedom. Shine on me, 'cause I love you. Shine a light. Come on, y'all. In the eyes of the world left behind. Shut up already. Shut the flop up. Okay, let me think back to night thinking. You know how people in Philadelphia are. But when you think about it, that good old boy, they didn't play in Philadelphia. They didn't play the game in New York. It was at a neutral site. And they played it at Hershey Sports Arena. Now it's called Hershey Park Stadium in Hershey, Pennsylvania. You've heard of Hershey's chocolate candy. But the game was also not televised. The revolution was not televised, and meaning that the only fans who saw Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain do his thing were the people in the gym, just over 4,000. And so when you think about it Wednesday night, the Philadelphia 76ers and the New York Knicks met. They're already tipped off. It's tipped off at 7:30 Eastern Time on ESPN. I'm sure they did a lot of things to commemorate what he did 60 years ago as part of the NBA's season-long celebration of the league's 75th anniversary season. See how they lined those two games up in honor of the great Wilkes-Barre Chamberlain? They played each other on March the 2nd when he broke the record. They're playing tonight also. I believe they're playing tonight. I know I might be off a day. Who knows? But I think they're playing tonight. And when you think about what the New York Knicks and also the Philadelphia 76ers, what they mean to the world of NBA basketball. And to have it 60 years ago when the Golden State Warriors and, well, now they didn't exist at the time, but the Philadelphia Warriors existed. I just think it's in the stars for Philadelphia to play Golden State Warriors this year in the NBA Finals. I could be wrong, but I doubt it. And I did pick the Rams to beat the Bengals, even though the year of the Tiger. Just thought it was a way of celebration. Who knows? But I'm saying it's a great year for the NBA. When you think about what Wilkes still did, it happened so long ago that only 6 current NBA coaches in Dwayne Casey, Rick Carlisle, Tom Thibodeau, Doc Rivers, Alvin Gentry, and Greg Popovich were alive when he dropped 100 points on the Knicks. But the league's players and coaches have been witness to countless other epic performances in the 60 years since. And so when I think about just how phenomenal that was for a player to score, some people say it was a double entendre. Some people say I'm trying to shortchange the man. He scored 100 times. I'm talking about on the basketball court. I'm not talking about anything outside of the lines. But that's amazing when you think about what the great Wilkes-Barre Chamberlain did back on March 2nd in 1962. No one's going to score that many points probably ever again in an NBA basketball game. But he didn't have the 3-point shot back then either. So that's how phenomenal Wilkes-Barre Chamberlain was. And I just appreciate that he did that many times, and that was 60 years ago. So no matter what it is, NBA basketball does a great job of honoring their players and give the NBA basketball some praise. Give it praise, praise, praise. All fair and level war. Something that I'm missing, I gotta tell you, I'm gonna say it, but the count's full. The score started at 5. The pitch swung on, hit deep, right field, back to ball, foul ball. And that's what Major League Baseball has done. They hit a foul ball. But Major League Baseball did it intentionally because they can't get it together. We just had one of the greatest television events ever. Super Bowl 56 had 112,000 fans watch. NBA basketball is fantastic. A lot of good teams in the Eastern and the Western Conference this year. And now, Major League Baseball, which should be still in the show, is almost treated like the Olympics. Did anyone really watch the Olympics, the Winter Olympics? It kind of came and went. And I think baseball, a lot of the stadiums were empty in Beijing. Just because they build these billion-dollar facilities, it doesn't mean people are going to travel to see them. I know they're still dealing with some COVID issues, but still. But Major League Baseball, the lockout, and Rob Manfred canceled the regular season games after the owners and the Major League Baseball Players Association, they failed to reach a deal. And it hurts not just the teams, but it hurts the vendors. They talked about Monday's informal deadline. Major League Baseball and the Major League Baseball Players Association, they were unable to strike a new deal. But they did strike out. Strike 3, you're out of there. They did strike out. They struck out themselves. Could you imagine throwing a pitch to yourself and then you run to the plate and you strike yourself out? Well, that's what Major League Baseball's done because they're in control of it. They could have solved this before Christmas of last year, but they chose not to. So now you have the Major League Baseball Players Association unable to reach a deal, and they have the owner-imposed lockout as of Tuesday was set at 5 p.m. Eastern Time for a deal. And they made their best and final offer on Tuesday afternoon, and it was rejected by the union. And then you have Commissioner Rob Manfred He announced in the press conference that the regular season games will be canceled. Not all of them, but some. Some will be canceled. So he added that the first two series of the 2022 season will not be played as scheduled. Opening day was originally scheduled for Thursday, March 31st. I guess we'll really have an April Fool's, no baseball. And it's been pushed back at least 1 week. Doesn't make any sense. He's laughing and joking about it. But think about this before we close. Major League Baseball is a $10 billion industry. $10 billion. Has 30 teams. And the owners have decided to use this weapon against the greatest assets they have. You know the greatest assets for Major League Baseball? It's like engine oil to a car. The players. But as they told the players, you don't count. We can always get new ones. Well, try that if you want to. Back in the day, there's a man by the name of Dribble D.D. Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. And Ali was told you can flow like a butterfly, you sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble. With all you've got to use, how can you lose? Ali would say, I'm so pretty, I'm so fancy in my feet, I can't possibly be beat because all these Big C burgers make me light on my feet. And the Big C coffee makes me rumble, young man, rumble. Don't express that I need the Big C cookie. Why's your cookie gotta be so big? And the Big C coffee comes in one size, extra large. Philadelphia freedom. I love what Ollie is there for. My beautiful mother always says there's no excuse for racism or domestic violence. If you know any man, woman, or child going to that garbage, pick up the phone and ask for help because no man, woman, or child should ever have to go to that garbage on their own. As they always tell you on every Big C Sports Show, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.